Chris Woods.
And he goes a little bit too far on the Brooklyn side and leaves the 3, 6, 10.
Cutting through right through the head pin there, Todd, just pushing the pin straight back. This spare is tough. It's a baby split with a kicker. You can make it two ways. You can either shoot your normal pocket shot and use the pins like dominoes, or the ideal way to play it is to try to put the ball right in between the 3 and the 6, just like that.
So Phil Evers spare in the first frame. Might add that Bill Seibel, as usual, our scorekeeper today from the Durban Bowl, is here. So is Tom Gray from Losanaville Lanes and Bo Hudepohl from the BPA.
Textbook way to make this spare. Just touching the 3-pin, the ball careening into the 6 and then into the 10. This man, hot, Chris Woods, right lane, is on a roll.
And the last 10 times he has rolled the ball, he has gotten a strike. 9 in a row to finish the last game. And in the first frame of this one, Chris Woods with a strike.
6-pin is really doing a number on the 10 out there today, Todd. I crossed with Chris yesterday at Coleman Lanes trying to qualify for next week's show. He had 299. 10-pin is what he left. Super bowler. He's on a roll. He's hot. And he wants the title today.
And leaves the 10-pin. So 10 strikes in a row if you go back to the last game. And now 9 pins in the second frame for Chris. You mentioned next week's show. Chris has already qualified with a 7:09 for next week's show at Coleraine Bowl, and Dwight Robinson's in at 7:37. Tim Sharp at 7:15. Our televised show next week, 11 a.m. A little bit different, usually at noon, and we'll be at noon every other week, but 11 a.m. next week, so tune in then.
Are we going to be in green next week? Todd, do you want to?
I want you to wear your green tuxedo.
Green tuxedo?
Well, for the St. Patrick's Day parade is right after that.
I think I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Dave Newrath in his green tuxedo next Sunday at Coleraine Bowl. And the 3-10 for Phil Evers.
2 shots for Phil Evers, 2 shots through the nose. He's going to have to settle down, put the crowd out of his mind, concentrate on what he's doing here. Now, if he plays the shot exactly the way he played the first frame on the left lane, he'll make the 3-10. It's about even money for the pros.
Yes. Picks up the baby split.
Let's take a look at it here. It's textbook way of making the spare again. Shooting cross lane, going over about the 4th arrow. Right there. 2 pins in the well right now. Phil has to start striking now because Chris Woods, we know what he can do.
That's it. Let's go, Phil.
Notice the difference in the speeds, Todd. Speed is very critical in the game of bowling. You can hit the same target, but if you throw the ball harder, it's going to slide more, not hook near as much. Or if you lighten up, as Phil is doing right now, it's going to hook a little bit too much. He really needs to put a little more authority on the ball, and I think he'll be all right.
And he kicks out the 4-pin. So for Phil Evers, he starts the championship game with 3 spares. And everybody gets pumped up as Chris Woods approaches the line. But, you know, needless to say, he's at home on these lanes.
Yes, that's for sure. But Chris, super guy. He's always got a lot of people behind him. Let's say they're uninhibited.
As we said, he's the night manager here at Coleman Lanes. I think a few of these people didn't go home last night. He just bowled all night long. Got some bloodshot eyes here this morning.
Got that right. Right across the 16th board, taking the ball out. Now it's going to trip out the 4 late. Not even late. Can't even classify that as a trip 4. It was just a good shot.
machine right now. He's a rolling machine.
Let's take a look at it. First opportunity to double in this game comes right here. Super shot. Perfectly played. 10 in the pit.
Might add, we have another man here this morning, Joe Minster, who is, well, he told me he's the top bowling writer from the Hamilton Journal from the tri-state area.
He is very, very good.
And another high hit. Now you're looking at some bedposts.
Virtually impossible. It is made once in a great, great while, but it's the most difficult split to make. You have no room to slide the pin over. The only way you can make it is to bounce the pin out of the pit, and Phil Evers, I don't believe, has this, the momentum on the ball to do that. He's going for it.
And right now, Phil Evers is digging himself a hole that he might not be able to get out of. 36 pins down in the fourth frame, although Chris Woods came from 40 back in the third frame from the last game, so don't go away.
No, you'd never, never, never give up. Bill Seibel to my left, keeping score for us again from Durban Bowl. It's on the tournament committee. Tom Gray, as usual, from the Santiville Lanes advertising committee.
And leaves the 4-pin. Phil just can't find a strike right now.
Can't. Well, he either has to move his feet left. Now, for the bowlers at home, if you're continually going high, as Phil is right now, you have a choice of one of two things. Well, actually one of three things. Change to a harder shell ball that'll skid more. Throw the ball harder. Or move your feet to the left more to look for some oil.
And Phil Evers picks up another spare. We are midway through our championship game, and we'll be back for the finish after this. He and I sneak out on a few lunch hours during the week. Actually, we don't sneak out. I mean, the boss sees us walk out the door. We get about 5 games in every now and then. We rarely look like Chris Woods looks like today, though.
The coup de grace right here. Going for the throat, 16th forward, taking the ball away. Incredible roll, no deflection.
Chris Woods has more strikes in 2 games than Rainoni and I get in 10 games.
I've seen Rainoni bowl. I can understand that. It's there. This is what bowling's all about. Competitive, entertaining, and everybody's having a lot of fun.
Especially Chris Woods.
You bet. He's thinking about that check.
And every pin he knocks down, he's getting closer and closer. Phil Evers in the 6th frame, still looking for his first strike.
Next Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be down at Harrison Bowl trying to qualify for the show.
That's right.
There you go.
There's the solid strike.
First good shot that Phil's made this whole game. Right over the 15th board, a little more speed. Delay roll, perfect. Through the pocket, 10 pins in the pit. Phil Evers is not out of it, but he is down, and he has to fill him up with strikes to get back in this match.
Well, he did that last week. Baby. Wow. 8-10.
Exactly what you have to do to combat going through the nose, he did do, but there's always something else in your way. A little more speed, a little more skid, unfortunately deflecting, going through the pocket, leaving an 8-10 split.
And he cleans out the 8. but open frames are not going to do him much good at this point. As Chris Woods has a very big lead, 40 points, 40 pins to be exact, in the 7th frame. Still mowing him down.
At this point, 4,400 doesn't make any difference. Chris Woods is hot. He's got the crowd behind him. He is going to be our king for this week. Super shot again. He wants it. 17th board this time. Got the extra speed. Kicks the ball out. Look at that. Perfect.
Well, in the last 16 frames, he has rolled 14 strikes, making 15 out of 17.
That's it, officially. No matter what happens at this point, Chris Woods is the king of bowling for this week.
And the first time ever in his life.
Come on, Phil. Come on, buddy.
He's wanted it. Let's just hope Phil takes it out here for a respectable game. Tie again. Just not having it today, Todd.
Well, in a way, it doesn't matter if he has it or not, because the way Chris Woods is bowling today, he's a hard man to beat.
Got that right. 1984 ladies division for the BPA champion of champs will be here at Coleman Lanes and at Northwest Lanes. In Fairfield, and the ladies finals will be at Coleraine Bowl, June 16th. A lot of tournament action going on in the greater Cincinnati area. Super Bowl in town. Good people.
Again, next week, qualifying is at Harrison Bowl.
Right.
Next week, our television show will be at Coleraine Bowl. And again, 11 o'clock in the morning, special time on St. Patrick's Day.
I'd like to see you all out.
To watch Dave Newrath in his green tuxedo. He might get mugged downtown as a leprechaun.
I'm not sure. I'll wear it, but we might have to get approval from the general committee to see if we keep it on or not. It's a little on the wild side.
A little?
A little on the wild side.
You tell me a green tuxedo that's not a little on the wild side.
Running down a few of the other cashers here. Alan Downs, as we said, the alternate. Don Smith, Jeff Young, Jerry West, Tim Sharp, Wayne Sherman, former teammate of mine, George Barlow, and 12th position, Dave Newrath.
Yeah, that was before you came down with the little
You got that right.
flu bug, huh?
Chris Woods is happy.
Yeah, he's starting to enjoy it now.
He knows that he's finally got something that he has wanted for a long, long time. Recognition of his ability, and he is tough. He's been tough. Now, the entire city has seen just what this man can do.
And with 2 more strikes, he will finish this game with a 238 to go along with a 258 he had in the first game he pulled today.
I think Chris is saying, go ahead, make my day. And his day is made today. Super shot.
Got it again.
Let's take a look at this one. This is an interesting shot. We're going to have 2 pins on the deck. Guess what they're going to be? The 8 and the 10. They're the last 2 down, and they're pointing in opposite directions, but they are down. That's all right.
236 for Chris Woods. What a day. 258 in the first game, 236 in the second game. He's our king of bowling this week. Phil Evers really doesn't want to upstage him right now. He just wants to finish out his 10th frame and get his check and hit home.
High again.
Leaving the 4-pin. Chris Woods today with that 236 and a 258, 494 for 2 games, an average of 247.
No doubt in anyone's mind that he is the best today.
You know, he's got the third best qualifying score for next week, but it really doesn't matter at this point.
That's right.
He's going to be there anyway.
One more spot opens up for the qualifiers out at Coleman Bowl today.
Again, Dwight Robinson in at 7:37, Tim Sharp at 7:15, Chris Woods at 7:09. Chris is going to be there in that championship game next week if somebody tries to take him on and unseat him as the king of bowling.
Well, if he brings his entourage along with him next week, it's going to be tough to hear the signals being called, that's for sure. Finishing out with a strike.
So Phil Evers finishes with a 172. Chris Woods a 236. And we'll be back to talk with Chris Woods after this on the BPA King of Bowling. How about that? This is the only place in town where people come to try to make the 5-7-10 split, not roll strikes. So they can beat up on the wall of shame. Terry, your name will be up there in just a second. This day really belonged to one guy, though, and that is Chris Woods. Chris, a check for $750. All right, now, a 258 in the first game, a 236 in the second game, 9 straight strikes in that first game. And you began with an open frame. Did you have some jitters in front of all your friends here today?
Plenty of jitters. Plenty of jitters.
What did you tell yourself, though, to settle down?
I've been throwing the ball good lately. I told myself just stay in the pocket and see if it carries. And I got some lucky hits against Terry, and they carried.
And you talk about a guy who is confident. We have a questionnaire sheet that we give these guys each week. And one of the questions is, have you ever been king? And Chris filled his out, not yet.
Well, it's true.
Well, the answer is he has done it so far. 494 for 2 games. That's a 247 average. Well, these are your home lanes.
Yes, I bowl good here. That's all I say.
And he hopes he bowls well next week at the Coleman Bowl. And a late reminder, we're on at 11 o'clock next week in the morning because of the St. Patrick's Day parade. Luck of the Irish going to be with you?
I hope so.
All righty, fine. And we hope to see you next week at Coleman Bowl, 11 o'clock in the morning on the BPA King of Bowling.